Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, 1 week removed from Super Bowl 57. Tonight, on a Nation Sports Show, we bring to you the latest breaking news in the NFL as free agency begins in a month, plus the latest news in the NBA and more. It's showtime. Good art to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, here we go. We're live once again, folks. It is that time of the day. It is Tuesday. You know what that means. It is officially our Nation Sports Show time. What's going on, guys? I'm Ezra, of course, here with a little three-man trio here, but almost as good of a trio as Rush or Triumph. We'll see about that. If we will definitely lay it on the line for you guys today. So we will do that for sure. But man, we got a lot to talk about. We got of course NFL coverage. We got the NFL, since Super Bowl ended. There's been some coach hirings. There's been some craziness going on. Some updates. We'll get into that. Of course, we're going to talk about the NBA All-Star break, and of course the latest signings from that, as well. And also we're going to talk about the games. Maybe we catch up on the Celebrity All-Star Game, 3-point shooting contest, slam dunk contest, all that good stuff. Also, we're going to get to other news, too, as well, throughout the world of sports. If and when it comes up, we will let you know. Of course, so let's get into the ways you can follow us first. That way we can get started. And that is, of course, on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, and Instagram.com at Our Nation Sports Show. You can find us there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share on this video. Follow our individual social media on Twitter as well. Don't forget to follow The Nation's Corner. Their show, of course, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time, with the usual hosts being Deb Housen, Front Row, Tony Justice, and Mongrovian Mike. And by the way, yes, Mongrovian Mike does love Creed. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him fool you. That music is not his own prison. He loves it. Don't forget to follow their shows. They talk all things pro wrestling. And don't forget to follow at Too Sweet Cosplay, my cosplay crew from the Chicago area, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We got a huge announcement coming up, including updates on our appearance at C2E2. We're finalizing some details, and hopefully by the next week or so, we should be able to make an official announcement and get everything out. So if you're going to be in the Chicago area and you love going to Comic-Cons and you love pro wrestling, hopefully you see us there. We'll see. Like I said, announcement coming soon. All right, now that that's over, let's introduce the crew here. We got a little three-man team. Our buddy Joey Thornton, of course, has decided to step away for a little while due to personal reasons, but of course he'll be sending in videos from time to time, and he'll be here in spirit. So we'll see you soon, buddy. But we got with us tonight the man himself, the leader of the Niner Gang, as we know him, it's our buddy KR, Kevin Rory. What's up, bud?
What's going on, everybody? Good to be back this Tuesday. And as we enter this kind of a dead period in the NFL, but still certainly not dead because so much news, so many hirings, so many firings to get through. So I'm ready to get going. Let's go.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then finally, of course, we got the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. Yeah. He is the one, he is the patriarch of this show. Without him, this show would not be possible. The one, the only, big Steven Wyand. Steven, what's up, man?
Oh, yeah. What's going on, everybody? We're going to take this show higher right now, and it's going to be awesome. And speaking of awesome, shout outs to our buddy Scotty from Long Island. The fact that he had the audacity to show up to that old man, Elder Mongrovian Mike's house on Long Island, last week, and brought his favorite frontman in rock and roll. No, it's not Rob Halford. No, it's not Bruce Dickinson. Hell, it's not even Bruce Springsteen. It's the great Scott Stapp from Creed. Unbelievable that Scott made these signs, brought them to his house, and all we could ask ourselves is, what if? What if Elder actually likes Creed? But knowing Elder, he's going to make somebody his sacrifice. But anyways, he's torn if he likes Creed. But on Saturday, there were the people on Saturday, Tony, Devin, front row for talking to a faceless man, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, we can keep going on with Creed references all day long, but we'll be here till 9:30 at night doing all that crap. But anyways, let's go.
Yeah, we keep going with Creed references. We're going to lose half our viewership. I think we already did at this point. By the way, if you want to find those photos, follow McGrovey and Mike at MJCHM420 and scroll back on his Twitter feed. You'll find it. But anyway, but don't forget to follow him and, of course, the rest of the crew for Nation's Corner. Like I said, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time. But let's get right into the world of the NFL, like Kevin said, it's kind of a dead period in the world of the NFL right now, but there's always stuff happening. There's always news reports. There's always stuff going down. It never ever ceases to amaze us what happens in the world of the NFL. Super Bowl has ended. It's now time. NFL free agency kicks off in, you said what, about a month, Steven?
Yes, it's about a month. That's when free agency will begin in March.
And it's going to be an interesting free agency because there's a lot of things, a lot of questions that need to be answered. Especially, with Tom, for instance, with Tom Brady officially retiring now completely for good, where does that leave Tampa Bay? With the questions surrounding Aaron Rodgers' future, where does that leave him? Where does he go? And what is the future for Green Bay with their quarterback situation? You're looking at, of course, the coaching changes. How is that going to fare? You've got Sean Payton now joining the Denver Broncos. How is that going to help Russell Wilson? We talked about this a few weeks ago. There's a lot of different things that are going on right now, and there's a lot of questions that hopefully will get answered very, very, very shortly. But of course, a couple of news notes coming out of this past week since the Super Bowl has come to a close. One of the things right here is that if I'm looking directly here through Mr. Adam Schefter's Twitter feed. The Washington Commanders have a new head coach, OC, defensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy was obviously the coordinator for the two Chiefs Super Bowl championship teams in 2020 in this past season. And look, I think Bieniemy is going to have a good foundation with this team as its coordinator. I don't think he's meant to be a head coach. I think he's meant to be a coordinator, which he's doing his right job. I think that it's going to be good for him, to kind of stretch his wings, because let's be honest. Eric Bieniemy going to the Washington Commanders is not a bad thing, because Andy Reid, as we know, in the Kansas City Chiefs organization, he is the brains behind what makes this team tick, along with Patrick Mahomes. Both of those guys are pretty much the play callers of this team. Bieniemy made some play calls, obviously, but primarily it's Reid and Mahomes doing all the work. And Matt Nagy is going to be the new coordinator for this team. And I know, you being a Bears fan, Ezra, that probably makes you shake your head, because you know how Nagy was in Chicago, the way that he was as a coach, as a head coach, calling everything. The fact that he is a coordinator on the offensive end, keep this in mind. He was Mahomes' quarterback's coach this past season. So he's already familiar with the playbook already, so he's got that going for him. I don't think it's going to affect the Chiefs as a team, because with Nagy not being the offensive coordinator, I think that it's going to be Mahomes and Reid running the show as they always have. And I think that Bieniemy is going to have a pretty good run in Washington because he has, good enough players like McLaurin and Robinson but the interesting thing about Washington is how are they going to be at the quarterback spot this upcoming season? Because as we all know, Carson Wentz last year was the death of that team early on. And then Heineke came in and had a hell of a run, 5 out of 7 games or whatever it was in a row wins. And then Sam Howell comes in at the end of the year and gets a big victory over their arch rivals, the Cowboys, that has a good run. So if you're Bieniemy, you're going, okay, which quarterback are we going to start with? Because it's going to be either Howell or it's going to be Heineke, because both of those guys gave you better results than Wentz did. And if it were me, I would examine Howell a little bit because he's got an upside, but that's only on one game. He needs to have more reps in the offseason now to see where he's at with the starting defensive unit for Washington. But if it were me, I would have Heineke be my starter because he had a good record last year for the most part. He did have a couple of bad losses, but overall, I thought Heineke's run last year with the Commanders was really solid. And I think this is a very solid move. Out of all the coordinators that got signed to the other teams, I mean, we'll get to Philadelphia and Arizona here, we'll get to Philadelphia's coordinators going to the Colts and to the Cardinals here in a little bit. But I think that this is a good move for Washington.
Yeah, I agree, Steven, but I don't care what nobody says. I've watched it last year. Eric Bieniemy deserved to at least get a chance at a head coaching position. I don't give a fuck what you say. Oh, well, Andy Reid called the plays. Okay, well, explain to me how is Kyle Shanahan the brains behind this 49ers offense?
That's true.
Mike McDaniels still got a head coaching job in Miami, and you see how that turned out. Basically, what I'm saying is Eric Bieniemy had the time to study from Andy Reid.
Right.
Like he's been under Andy Reid. He might have not been the brains, but he's been a student. He's been a part of that Andy Reid coaching tree. Just like we talk about Mike McDaniel, a part of the Shanahan coaching tree.
Doug Peterson, a part of Andy's coaching tree.
It's just like that. Like Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Nobody likes him, but he came from the Shanahan. Sean McVay came from the Shanahan coaching tree. Like, it's just about learning. Let's just call a spade here. Sean McVay, great coach. We know that. He was a tight ends coach in Washington, and he got a head coaching job or an offensive coordinator job, led to a head coaching job, and won a championship with the Rams. So I think Eric Bieniemy deserved a chance because of the knowledge he learned from Andy Reid. But I do like him being on the a part of the commander staff because let's be honest, Ron Rivera is about the end of his stick with that team. And once he gets to the end, I believe he will be named the head coach.
You know what? I was just about to add to that, Kev. I really think that Bieniemy is there initially as a coordinator because Rivera is still the coach. But I think in the end, Bieniemy will get what he deserves, and that is the right to be a head coach of a team because he knows what makes a great offense. He's done it before. He's won Super Bowls with the Chiefs multiple times as their offensive coordinator. And I think that he does deserve the right to be a head coach because he knows the game. He's no dummy. He knows how to coach a game.
And you know what? I've seen other players on Twitter in the last 3-4 days come to his defense about that, like former Chiefs players. Shady McCoy went on the record. We know how his tenure in Kansas City ended with Andy Reid by him trashing the organization. But there's been players like Tyreek Hill recently today on Twitter, came out on Twitter and said, look, man, Shady, you tripping, dude. And it was like, Eric Bieniemy's a very smart guy. He's a leader amongst men. What's the number one head coaching attribute that you want? Someone to be a leader amongst men. Jesus Christ. And then you talk about, like, I know we got to it, but Arizona hired a fucking defensive coordinator from Philly who can't make adjustments, who has vanilla ass play calling, but Eric Bieniemy has to be stuck being an offensive coordinator. I'm just saying, someone make this make sense, because why hire a vanilla ass defensive coordinator as your head coach and you got a guy who studied under Andy Reid for 5 years out on the market? I mean, come on, dude.
And do these owners not know the records, the numbers? They don't lie that defensive coordinators being head coaches generally does not add up to great success. I mean, look at Matt Patricia. I mean, Matt Patricia was Bill Belichick's defensive coordinator during those Super Bowl championships with Brady in 17 and 19 and 17 and 19 and 15. And I mean, and Patricia goes to Detroit and he bombed because he's not a great coach. He's not a great guy on the offensive side because the head coach's job is to call offense and defense as far as making sure that both units sides of the ball are working together as a team. And Matt Patricia did not have those tangibles, and neither, I don't believe, in my opinion, I don't think that I don't think that Philadelphia's defensive coordinator is going to have a great run with this team because with Arizona as their coach, because the numbers don't lie.
Hell no, I don't believe he will, dude. Because Arizona, they're already rebuilding. They don't got Kyler Murray for the first year because they said he's way behind on his schedule and his ACL rehab. They lost J.J. Watt. They got 6 or 7 starters pending free agency. They don't have no money. They're going to trade DeAndre Hopkins. They flat out said that in the offseason that they're looking for a trade partner to trade a top 5 receiver in the league because you know what? Wow, let's just ruin it. Fuck it. Let's trade them away. Dumbasses. Dumbasses.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some other news before as we get it from this past week. Because I know we did the show on the 15th, so I know you guys got a lot of the news covered from that day. So of course, ever since then we've had, of course, Vic Fangio being the new defensive coordinator for Miami. He's now part of that team. Calvin Ridley put his reinstatement into the NFL after being suspended for betting on games. Steelers assistant head coach John Mitchell has announced his retirement after 29 seasons. So that's insane. Here's some newer news right here. Former NFL coach Kev Weisenhunt has joined Alabama's football staff as the special assistant to head coach Nick Saban.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Fun.
Joey's gonna be happy. Too bad your team still sucks. That's just me not being a Tide fan. I can give a shit less about them.
Sorry, Joey.
The Giants have signed wide receiver Isaiah Hodgkins 5 days ago, who is set to become an exclusive rights free agent.
Okay.
Oh man, this is one right here. There's a battery case that's going on. 4 men were indicted, including Alvin Kamara.
Again.
It's from the same incident.
Oh, from the same thing from last year. Okay. Last year. Okay.
Yeah. They just finally went to court for it. And
Chris Lamons of the Cincinnati Bengals as well.
Oh my God. They're gonna be in some trouble.
Yep. And of course, here's some fun unrelated it's related to football, but it's not. That Mr. Travis Kelce will be making his Saturday Night Live debut on March 4th.
Wonderful.
Great.
And hopefully he'll be rocking that custom WWE championship right on that show too.
Travis Kelce is a hoot, man. I love that dude. He is so entertaining.
Very personable guy.
Yes.
It's just something about them tight ends that are just, they light up the party. I swear, between Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and like guys like that, like they're.
I said this the other day to my mom, Kevin, that George Kittle and Travis Kelce, because they're big pro wrestling fans, they could be a hell of a tag team.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. They actually had a video on the 49ers about where George Kittle was in the locker room suplexing other teammates right on the damn mat.
And you know George Kittle will be rocking that custom Pentagon mask that was made for him.
Yes.
So that would be awesome. Other news, Aaron Jones will be staying in Green Bay. He has agreed on an $11 million salary for the 2023 season that includes an $8.52 million signing bonus.
Okay.
Jesus.
Woo.
He's sticking around. Derek Carr has visited with the New York Jets.
Mm.
Yep.
And also right here, Mike Westhoff is signed a deal to become the assistant head coach for Denver, and will oversee special teams with Ben Kotwika have been hired as a special teams coordinator. Kotwika is now the second former helicopter pilot to be the Broncos special teams coach. So is Mike Pfeiffer.
Oh my God.
My God almighty.
Broncos country, let's fly.
Oh man.
Right here it says right here that on this past Saturday, Rex Ryan was interviewed for the Broncos defensive coordinator job.
Oh wow.
I like that.
I love it.
If you remember those dominant early 2000s Ravens team, Rex Ryan was either the D-line coach or the defensive coordinator. So props to him. About time Sean Payton got him a good defensive coordinator in there. I hope he joins.
Kev, real quick. Sorry, remember the days when Rex Ryan and Brian Bellick would be on the NFL films, just yapping it up against each other.
Yeah.
Yes, and I remember the Jets had a hard knock season in 2009, and Rex Ryan was they had to bleep about every sentence he said out. He
had to be careful now because he's on that show Get Up every morning now.
Yes,
he's kind of calmed the language down.
But
he has to. We're live, pal.
Also, the other candidate for that job is former Broncos head coach Vance Joseph.
It's okay too. I like him as a guy too. So they can't really go wrong with that.
No.
They got a pretty good enough defense that either one of them should work for them.
Yeah. Chargers defensive coordinator Ronaldo Hill is leaving LA to reunite with Miami defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, become the new Dolphins defensive pass game coordinator.
Ooh, he saw the hell that he was entering and he said, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah, between that and the fact that Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive minds in football from the past decades. I remember he being the 49ers coordinator in 2012 and 2013, and I can think, man, he's dominant. So I'm not surprised.
No, not at all. And also, despite this guy supposedly signing with a foreign team, Matt Araiza is still a free agent. Former Bills punter. He's still out there hoping for another chance in the NFL.
Interesting.
The Eagles have interviewed former Wisconsin defensive coordinator GM Leonhard as they look to fill their DC job.
Oh,
yeah, because obviously Jonathan Gannon is now the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
That's probably the least of their worries as far as D coordinator with all the pending defensive free agents.
Right.
Jesus.
Jim Bob Cooter is expected to be named the new offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. Yep.
Okay.
Panthers have re-signed their veteran long snapper JJ Jansen. He's their longest tenured player.
Yep, I read that earlier today.
And also we got Clayton Adams is going to be the new O-line coach for the Cardinals. He was the Colts tight ends coach the previous 2 seasons.
Oh Lord.
Right here, it says starting today, NFL teams can designate their franchise or transition players. Franchise tag candidates include Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Geno Smith, Tony Pollard, Dalton Schultz, Orlando Brown Jr., Jesse Bates, Darren Payne, and Josh Jacobs.
Some pretty big names on the on that side of the free agency tag or the franchise tag. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I hate the thought of a franchise tag because, it saves you as an organization if you can't. like reach an agreement, but it also fucks them players out of getting their big time monies. Like the franchise tag for Lamar Jackson's only going to be like, maybe I heard like 29 to 30 million. Whereas in a normal contract, this man's about to get 50 plus million. So you're really fucking him out of money because you can't get your hard heads out of your ass and reach a damn deal that he would want. And same goes for like Josh Jacobs and like all those guys that deserve the money are basically getting shitted at about 10 to 20 million dollars on that tag. And I hate that concept.
Agree.
Yeah, but to be honest, it's look at the money that Lamar was asking for. Lamar was asking for.
I wouldn't be mad about the money, but I wouldn't guarantee it all. Like he wants it all guaranteed, and he's just a Robert Griffin III injury away from damn.
Correct.
We fucked ourselves for 10 years.
And that's that. He's gonna end up being the Bobby Bonilla of the NFL.
Agree.
I agree. You know, and when you look at Lamar's asking price and what he believes he's worth, he's as we all know, he's not even worth the money because he's gotten injured before multiple times. He can't stay healthy when it matters the most, and most importantly, he can't even get it done when it matters the most. A former MVP in 2019 during that regular season took the league by storm, gets destroyed in the playoffs by Tennessee that season. And then the next couple of years doesn't even go past the first round. I mean, just unbelievable how he thinks he's worth it, but obviously he's not because he doesn't have the proven track record of the resume to get it done. And if I think I was reading this correctly earlier today, the Ravens said, we will give you $45 million guaranteed, you know, on a 1-year deal, but we're not fully committed because I think they know that they're not sure about where they stand with Lamar. Because honestly, even though Tyler Huntley was named as the alternative quarterback in the Pro Bowl, even though that goes on his resume that he was a Pro Bowler, even Huntley to me is not worth being the starting quarterback because he doesn't have the proven track record to be their starter. The Ravens are in free fall mode.
But Steven, it's going to depend on what free agency starting in a month, what the Ravens can do, what their cap space is, and what other moves do they need to make. I mean, and it's going to, like I said, if they franchise tag Lamar, yes, it's going to cheat him out of the money that he wants,
right?
But it keeps him under the gun for another year and allows him to negotiate. And if Lamar shows up, it does what he does and proves
then they'll pay him
worth that money. Then they'll pay him. Yes,
right.
It's a lucky way to cheat amount of money that he wants right now. Especially Kevin, I agree with your. I definitely agree with your sentiment, and I agree with what you're saying 100%. But it's also, if you think about it from a business sense, it is a good way to especially when you're looking at these players to see if they truly are worth the money that they want. Especially a guy like a Lamar Jackson who wants a big 50, 60 million a year contract, who wants big time money. But to be honest, he's been riddled with injuries and hasn't really gotten a chance to prove that he's worth that much.
Right.
And I think personally that this is a smart move by Baltimore if they go through with it, because it allows Lamar to prove himself. And if he comes out here and has a big season coming up, it does very well and gets them into another playoff push, then I expect them to pay him big time.
Oh, yeah. See, I agree with that. The main player I was talking about was Jesse Bates, because it's just, I get it. You got to prove yourself, and that's what the franchise tag allows. But the rule states they can franchise tag a player 3 consecutive years. I mean, like, damn, if you don't know about your player in 3 years or in 2 years or even a year, then you just need to go ahead and get rid of him then. And Jesse Bates, this will be possibly his 2nd consecutive franchise tags as an elite safety for that Bengals defense. And I just don't like that concept. The first year, yes, I agree. But he came out there and he showed it. He balled out last year. So I'm like, man, just pay the money. Pay the man his money already. But Lamar, I absolutely agree. But I just don't agree it being 3 years. They can franchise tag him 3 different times. No. That's just no.
It should be a one and done deal.
It should just be a 1-year deal. And at middle of the season, if you can't reach an agreement, trade them away. Get your first round picks. Do what you got to do.
I agree because then in reality you're wasting money if you use it 3 different times. You're wasting money. You're wasting all different sorts of. You're wasting space on the roster that could be used for somebody, a free agent who's out there who could take that spot and run with it. So I do agree with you on that. It shouldn't be 3 consecutive times, but unfortunately, that's just the way it goes in the NFL.
Yep.
And then one final note before we get to our buddy Joey, who has a video for us, real quick, is that Jim Caldwell has said that he is officially done seeking NFL head coaching jobs. Yeah, he says to quote him on this, it says, right now the only job I'm concerned with is the job I do here right here and now. Talking about he says, I'm not worried about the future or anything else. I don't plan on being a head coach from this point forward. So, he's decided to not do the head coaching thing. So, but that's pretty much it for me on anything else on that front. So, we got a little video here from our good buddy Joseph Thornton. So, I'm going to get this set up here real quick. But yeah, Joey has a video for us it's about the NFL coach hiring. So, just a second here. We're going to take it away. Actually, right now, we're actually going to take it away to our good buddy, of course, one of our co-hosts on our Nation Sports Show, Joey Thornton, who has some thoughts on the NFL coach hirings. Let's take a listen and a look, and here he is now.
Nation Sports Show fans, Nation Sports Show crew, what is going on? I hope you guys are having an amazing show. I hate that I can't be on tonight due to me taking a hiatus for a few weeks because of some personal reasons. But I'm not going to be on here long. I just wanted to give my thoughts on a possible hot topic for tonight's sports show. And that is the fact that there has been some changes in the NFL as far as coaching is concerned. The Indianapolis Colts have hired a new head coach, and that is Shane Steichen, who is the former offensive coordinator for the Super Bowl runner-ups Philadelphia Eagles, which honestly, I think that is a very smart move because Steichen knew what he was doing. And I really think he's going to be a good hire for Indianapolis because he did a great job with Jalen Hurts, A.J. Smith, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith last year, along with that running game with Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. They all did a great job. And Philly came oh so close to winning the Super Bowl, so I wish Steichen the best of luck, and I think he's going to be a great hire for Indy. For Arizona, they hired Philadelphia's defensive coordinator, and that's Jonathan Cannon. I do think that is a pretty good hire. Philadelphia was a really good team on the defensive side of the ball last year, especially with that front four of Ndamukong Suh, Brandon Graham, and Fletcher Cox, all getting 10-plus sacks last year. He knew what they were doing, and he knew that he was going to be a good hire for a head coaching position, and now he is going to have the task of coaching Kyler Murray in Arizona next year. Now, I would say that I hope he can get Kyler Murray to stop playing Call of Duty long enough to actually learn the process of running an offensive scheme. And even though this guy is mainly defense, it wouldn't surprise me if he breaks out of the shell and does a good job with the offense also. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is one that has greatly benefited me as a Washington Commanders fan, and that is the fact that we have signed former Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy to the same position. Eric Bieniemy, whenever he first took over a few years ago for Kansas City, he immediately revitalized their offensive game, especially with them picking up Patrick Mahomes as quarterback. And seeing as how he's coached a bunch of amazing players who have put up unbelievable stats over the years. Players like Tyreek Hill, Jerick McKinnon, Isaiah Pacheco, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Travis Kelce, and of course even Mahomes, because when Mahomes first broke into the league, he was a little rusty. But Bieniemy helped shake that off of him really quick, and Mahomes is now one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback right now in the history of the NFL. In today's age, that is. Now, am I expecting Bieniemy to take that offense that he has worked with and bring it over to Washington right away? Well, no, because Washington does not have the offense that Kansas City has, and that is Sam Howell at quarterback, Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson at running back, and of course you got Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and scary Terry McLaurin on the receiving side of the ball. And I'm not sure about the whole tight end aspect, because I think we're probably going to release Logan Thomas and try to find somebody in free agency. So, case in point, Washington does not have the offense right now that Kansas City had whenever Bieniemy first took over. And I think it may take a year or two, hopefully no longer than 2 years, but I think Bieniemy could actually do a great job for us. And not only is he the offensive coordinator, but he is also the assistant head coach, which also means he's going to have 100% of the responsibility over the play calling, which I think that is a really big role for Bieniemy. He's done it quite a bit in Kansas City. Not as much, seeing as how he worked with one of the best offensive-minded coaches of the game in Andy Reid. But I think Bieniemy is going to do a great job for us, and I'm ready to see what he can do for us. I mean, as a Washington Commanders fan, I always want to see the team succeed, and we have taken a huge step in getting Eric Bieniemy to be our offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. So that is my thoughts. I hope you guys have a great rest of the show, and I'm going to be back on soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but I will be back on very, very soon. Until then, peace and have a great show.
All right, there you go, Joey, with his thoughts on the NFL coach hirings over the past couple of weeks. Any guys got any quick thoughts on what he said?
So I agree with the majority of what he said, but like I said, and like Kevin has said, the track record on these coordinators being coaches on some of these teams that they're going to Super Bowls is not a good record. I mean,
hey, one second, Steven. I can see if you look at Kevin's photo right now, you can see a ceiling fan bleeding through the 49ers logo.
oh boy.
I can see that. You know what? That just what is that? What is it? Who does that symbolize? What does that symbolize? LeBron James' only fan. Anyways, continue.
Anyways, that's fantastic. I don't think Gannon is going to be a great hire for Arizona, because as we all know, the Cardinals are in literal football hell, and Murray is going to be out for a significant amount of time with the ACL injury. He's going to miss quite a bit of the season next year, possibly maybe all of it. Who knows?
Football hell is a little bit light.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be in hell.
They're going to be in hell for sure. I mean, look, the Colts, they finally got their man a head coach, but I don't even think Steichen I don't even think Shane's the guy. Like he was again. Nick Sirianni was the guy primarily calling all the plays, with Philadelphia, and he was just basically there. I mean, he was calling plays too, but I don't think this is a great hire for the Colts, and the Colts are going to be in shambles again this upcoming season.
Well, Stephen, I got to disagree on that one. I agree with Joey as far as the the Colts head coach, because I see what they're trying to do through the draft. They want a guy who's coached a quarterback like Jalen Hurts.
Here's a guy.
Think about it. C.J. Stroud is kind of a Jalen Hurts type player. Bryce Young is kind of a Jalen Hurts type archetype. So they want someone who's kind of coached that kind of quarterback archetype to be able to come in and actually draft C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young in the draft and actually get somewhere and do something to have some kind of success. And like we talked about, Bieniemy learning from Andy Reid and McDaniel learning from Shanahan, they're hoping that he has learned from Nick Sirianni. So I believe that is a decent hire, especially considering they play in the fucking AFC South. Good God, you ain't got to be that good to win the damn AFC South. That's like the NFC South. You barely just improve and you win it. But I don't like the Gannon one because, like I said, a new coach, they're in a rebuild team right now because no Kyler Murray next year, who, I mean, he's average at best anyway. DeAndre Hopkins going to go to get a salary cap off. You lost Chandler Jones a year before. You're losing J.J. Watt to retirement. I mean, Buda Baker might not be over there. And then you play in a division where you got to play arguably a tough Seattle up-and-coming team and the best defense in football in the 49ers. So, I mean, hell, kudos to you if you damn have any kind of success against Seattle and San Francisco, because the way it looks, that's the two teams that's running the West again, just like old times. And I just feel bad for him because Call of Duty ain't even going to save Kyler Murray at this point.
No, and, as far as Sykin goes, being the guy, I mean, he might be pretty good because, honestly, anybody is better than Jeff Saturday as the coach. I mean, that was a disaster with Jeff Saturday coming in as the interim coach and with Shane Sykin coming in now as the full-time coach after leaving Philadelphia. Kevin, you're absolutely spot on when it comes to the fact that the Colts need a quarterback. And Sykin knows what it's like to get that quarterback because he was with them when they got Jalen Hurts as Philadelphia's quarterback. So, and the Colts are going to have a very high ceiling in the draft as far as having multiple picks to get what they need. And depending upon who's on the board, Sykin's going to go with the best result that he sees fit. And
to be honest, like you said, Stephen, those picks could be huge because, like we all know and Ezra knows, the Bears with that number one pick, they're playing with house money. They don't need a quarterback. They're just dangling over teams' head like, who wants to trade? You want to trade down? Because we know whoever trades with the Bears, if it happens, they're going to give a bunch of first-round picks up. I mean, we're talking about the Colts. If they want Bryce Young as their guy to beat out Houston, they're going to have to give the Bears their fourth overall pick, their maybe second round pick, and maybe next year's first or second round pick. So, and to be honest, the Bears wouldn't hurt by that at all because there's still so many defensive players on the board that they possibly are aiming for, like a Will Anderson, a Jalen Carter, a Miles Murphy, the other edge rusher from Texas A&M. So they're playing with house money. The Colts, like I said, put it like this. Sykin has a better chance of succeeding with the Colts than Gannon does with the Cardinals because, like I said, strength of schedule, rosters, and divisions they play in. I mean, Sykin's got a pretty decent roster in Indianapolis. They just couldn't stay healthy, and they're they didn't have Darius Leonard for the whole season. That's a MVP. That's a defensive player of the year caliber player. So they're going to get him back healthy, maybe make a splash in free agency, revamp their offensive line, and I think that's all right. I think that'll work. But Arizona's got way too many holes, and like I said, they got to play the 49ers and the Seahawks twice a year, and Pete Carroll and them boys. It just don't look good for it. The future doesn't look as clear for Arizona than it does for Indianapolis.
So let me ask you this, Kev. So upon looking at this NFL draft class or as far as the NFL draft for 2023 being in Kansas City, and by the way, the Chiefs are making history again, is the fact that they are the first NFL Super Bowl winning team to host the draft the next year after winning a Super Bowl. And as we all know, as of right now, Chicago holds the number 1 overall selection in the draft. But is it possible that the Colts could move up to number 1? Because let's be honest here, Chicago does not need a quarterback. The Colts are the one that need the quarterback. And I think the Colts are going to do whatever they got to do, possibly to move up and get Bryce Young from Alabama to be their quarterback.
Okay, there's only 2 problems with it, though. That's who they're thinking everybody's saying is going to trade with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends, though. Like, if they want CJ Stroud, I just about guarantee they can sit at number 4 and still have CJ Stroud. If they want Bryce Young, though, they might
have to move up
and draft, because we know what Houston's doing. So
because Houston is going to go.
They want Bryce Young, they're going to have to trade. But if
because Houston would have in the second pick in the draft, obviously they're going to take a quarterback, Bryce Young.
But in the other 2 picks, you got like Seattle, who's in front of Indianapolis. They're not taking a quarterback. They're about to get Geno back. They're not taking one this early. They might take one later and try to develop them, but they're not going to go get them a franchise right now. They're going to try to use that possibly on Will Anderson, or like the Bears are going to with Jalen Carr, or a defensive player, because I just don't see the 2 teams that need a quarterback are right there with Indianapolis and Houston. It just depends on who they want. If the Colts are okay with CJ Stroud, they really want to put their faith in the Houston Texans on drafting Bryce Young, then they're going to leave it the way it is. But keep in mind, Chicago doesn't just have to narrow their trade selections down to Indianapolis. Indianapolis might want to jump on it. You got other teams that need a quarterback, like the Carolina Panthers, like teams like that are down on the board that might try to get that pick just so they can get a quarterback. So it's a lot of teams out there that possibly want to move up to get a quarterback, but it just depends on what the pro day and the combine and all those things tell you, because sometimes you just are flabbergasted by someone's performance at the combine. Then other times you're just like, oh, it ain't worth moving up. It ain't worth moving up. All the quarterbacks are all right. We'll take one down on the board. So it just depends on that, I think.
Yeah. But isn't it funny when you're looking at the numbers as far as down the line, the NFC South teams are neck and neck. Falcons at 8, Panthers at 9, the Saints are at 10, and all of the teams that people thought were going to be, were going to be heavyweight contenders in the Vegas Raiders pick number 7. And then you got the Rams, the worst Super Bowl.
That's a good one, Steven. The Rams and the Raiders might be looking for a quarterback. They might, but the Rams are draft fucked. You know why? Because of their theory on winning a Super Bowl. Fuck them picks. So guess what they're stuck with? Not one first round pick right now. Who has their first round pick, you might ask? The Detroit Lions have a top 5 pick this year, you might ask. Number 6.
So Detroit, if you think about it, Detroit has 2 first round picks in this draft. Detroit has nothing to lose.
Good.
They have nothing to lose. They can get a top 10 receiver. They can get a top 10 running back if they want to. Hell, they can get a top 10 defensive player. They have nothing to lose at this point.
I think what they're going to go with, I hate to say it, but I think they're going all defense. Because, yes, their defense looked good at the end of the year, but that's what killed them the first 10 games was their defensive secondary. So I look for the Lions to go out there and draft a corner and a other edge rusher outside Aiden Hutchinson to kind of solidify that defense. I think they're satisfied with Jared Goff because he's kind of like that Jimmy Garoppolo type guy who can be a bridge quarterback who can win games and can win you games and get in the playoffs. So they're not really rushing. They're like Seattle. Same with Geno. They're not rushing to get a franchise. They're just going to sit back with the quarterback they got.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. One other news note before we move on. Remember I mentioned Mike Pfeiffer. Well, today it was announced this morning that he has been fired from the Cleveland Browns coaching staff.
Yep.
And that they're looking at right now, they requested an interview with Colts special teams coordinator Bubba Ventrone. So,
Interesting.
yep, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, quick injury note. Quick injury note for the Kansas City Chiefs. Wide receiver Mecole Hardman underwent successful groin repair surgery.
I seen that.
Okay.
Seen that on
Set to
Twitter.
become a free agent this offseason, but at least he'll be looking pretty decent for when, depending on where he goes. So should be hopefully ready pretty soon. So, but that's it for the NFL news. Let's get outside of that. You guys got anything else you want to hit up real quick?
Oh, my boy is about to undergo elbow surgery tomorrow morning. Also,
Yep.
Brock
Brock Purdy. Yep.
He will go. He will see the Houston Astros, or the Texas Rangers, surgeon that does their Tommy John surgery. So, pretty
Very
smart
nice.
guy to do your
Very
surgery.
nice.
A baseball player.
Very, 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 very smart move by the team and by Brock to get that done so that way he
Yes.
can be ready. It'd be a 100% for you guys because I know that this past season he was beyond critical to your guys' playoff success. So
Yes, he was.
absolutely, I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited to see what happens going forward. Let's get into the NBA. We got a lot to talk about there, but we got to get into before we get into the All-Star game, which we will get into the All-Star game and the injuries that came out of it. We got to talk about some signings and a big release that happened today. And let's start up with that. And that is that the Atlanta Hawks have fired their head coach, Nate McMillan.
Ooh.
Yep. And they officially said that the search for a head coach has begun immediately.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame them. I mean, the Hawks are not where they had been the last couple of years, especially after that Eastern Conference Finals. Yep.
You have the roster in a weaker Eastern Conference than usual. I mean, outside of Boston and Milwaukee, everybody's like neck and neck. So I don't know. And they got the roster to be good. So sad.
Yep, they're looking at for right now. They said expected at the top of the list will be former Utah Jazz coach Quinn Snyder. So that's according to, of course, to NFL.com. And in more NFL news, of course, we got to talk about the two major signings actually, let's talk about this one before we get to those. Kevin Love has finally, his contract buyout with Cleveland has come to pass, and now he is signed with the Miami Heat.
Oh, okay. Nice move. Nice.
Hey, 6 man of the year is alive and well. Come on, K-Love.
Let's go. Let's go.
He's also transitioning back to his Minnesota Timberwolves and his UCLA number 42 also.
Hey, you know what? The shackles of Kyrie Irving have been lifted from K-Love.
Yes.
You know, the curse of Love's downgrade years in Cleveland are finally gone because now he's going to Miami.
Yeah, I think he'll be a big part of this Miami team because last year when you watched the conference finals, Miami had piss poor 3-point shooting outside of Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler's not a great 3-point shooter.
No.
But adding someone like Kevin Love, who has scored 30 points in a quarter and most of all threes, is pretty big.
Yeah, definitely. The Nets have announced that they are agreed to a multi-year contract extension with Jacques Vaughn.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh.
I think Kevin's got something to say about this one. I can tell by the look on his face.
Dude, I think the only reason they did that is because of how they just treated the Lakers. They said, "No, fuck you, you're not getting Kyrie," and gave Kyrie to Dallas. So I think everybody's like, "Yay, like way to go!" Yeah, as long as you ain't give that fucker LeBron that damn Kyrie, we don't care. So yeah, he got rewarded for that, I guess.
Yeah,
he did.
Basically. Right here, according to this, Miles Leonard is getting another chance at the NBA.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yep, he has signed a 10-day contract with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Interesting.
Let's see if he learned from his mistakes.
Yep. We'll see.
Maybe next time, don't go over the freaking headset and say some crazy shit on a streaming site. Goof.
Yeah. Dumbass. All right. Let's get into the two big signings, man. The first one we got to get to is the biggest of them all, which is Russell Westbrook has made his decision and he's staying in Los Angeles, but he's going to the opposite side. He is going to the Clippers.
At least he saved money on his home insurance and buy a home. He keeps staying the same damn time.
Imagine if the Clippers win a championship this year and it's a big fuck you to LeBron and the Lakers.
Well, I already thought it was a big fuck you that as of right now, currently, Russ would be in the playoffs. The Lakers will not be.
Yes, that's right.
Fuck you. Like, okay, so right now the Clippers are the 4th seed and the Lakers are the 13th seed. Good luck, LA. You're going.
And by the way, we did fail to mention, but who gives a shit? Because last week we did fail to mention, but we already knew it was going to happen. But LeBron did break the all-time scoring record. Whoop-de freaking do. Who cares?
He celebrated like he won another NBA title.
Hey, he was looking like when The Rock was on.
When Russell Westbrook broke the 3-point season record, he just went, okay, whatever. Let's move on.
Kevin will get this. He looked like LeBron looked like 2 weeks ago. He looked like The Rock did on that promo on Kane. He was looking like LeBron was going, I won the all-time scoring record in the NBA.
No,
Kevin's dying. I won. You're standing around looking like a bumbling idiot, thinking that, you impressed somebody because you broke Kareem's all-time scoring record.
And the reference about damn Kane, Kane had fire coming out of everywhere. The ring posted out of his ass, but hell, now LeBron's got talks coming out of his hands, out of his ears, and out of his ass too. So hell, very similar. But no, interesting stat about the broken record though that I thought was funny, that every record that LeBron James has broke, his team has lost the game. When he broke the all-time scoring record playoff included, Golden State beat him by 20 in the playoffs. I think it was 2018. Yeah. Skunked them. Literally beat the hell out of them. And this year, they lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder, for crying out loud, when LeBron.
Ironically, Westbrook's former team.
And you know what's funny? Everybody was hating on Anthony Davis because he was not celebrating. He was sitting on the bench. And I actually gained a little bit of ounce of respect for AD after that, because he said, why the fuck would I celebrate? We're losing to the fucking 12-seeded Thunder and we're trying to make the playoffs. Why am I celebrating right now? I'm happy for LeBron, but damn, we're trying to win a fucking basketball game. I said, you know what?
Exactly. They stopped the whole game.
He earned me not hating AD for 2 months. I will not crack another AD injury joke for another month, at least. He's earned that.
For now.
Because he's told the truth. Like, why the fuck are you celebrating, dude? At least when Curry broke the 3-point record in the Mecca, they were winning. They won. It was over. They're winning.
Okay, and also as well, Kevin, to add to this, and you'll get this, but when Ray Allen broke the initial record, at least the Celtics were beating the Lakers. They were winning the game.
The Lakers were down by 10 with LeBron.
Yes. Yes. LeBron broke the record. Stop the game. Why? So we can celebrate his crowning of a new king in points. Who cares?
They stopped the game. I said, damn, nobody stopped that damn game.
I won. I did it.
I won, but I can't win another chip.
My Mickey Mouse championship ring is the last resemblance of a championship so-called team that I'll ever have in my life.
I mean, come on.
I need Kyrie, damn it. I need Kyrie back in my life.
The only thing that I respect the most about that moment was in fact, and I can relate because I have kids, but LeBron's a hell of a dad. Jordan, I can't say the same for LeBron. That's something LeBron does have over Jordan. He is one hell of a father figure, and I got to give him the utmost respect for that. Bryson Bronny was sitting courtside when he broke the record, and in the locker room they were talking, and he just had so
Kareem.
much.
You mean
so
Kareem?
I give him his respect for that.
You meant Kareem, by the way.
The what?
Kareem had the record.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. When LeBron broke the record,
Oh, okay.
with Bryce and Bronny, and they were
Yeah,
courtside watching.
Right.
And he talked to him after the game.
Right.
And like that was a good locker room moment for his kids. So I give LeBron that.
I do agree with that. Yes.
He's a hell of a father figure.
Yes.
Yep. And it also says that he could start as early as this Friday.
I honestly think this is the right move for Russell Westbrook because all the turmoil that he went through with the Lakers this season and the last couple of seasons, I mean, all the ups and downs, and now he's going to a team that has two better wingmen, George and Leonard. I'm just saying. I think that Russell Westbrook has put himself into a better position to possibly maybe contending for an NBA championship.
I agree. I 100% agree. And I got a little rant to say about this, dude. Like, as much as I pick on Russell Westbrook shooting everywhere except the rim, the guy can't shoot. Let's call a spade a spade.
Nope.
It's not rocket science. He
used to have it.
He never had. You know what? He was good up until the point guys like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, they changed the game. Now you have to shoot. And it kind of fucked Westbrook apart. But Westbrook adjusted, dude. Like, he was getting triple-doubles every night with Oklahoma City. And he goes to these teams with these ball hogs and these ball controlled goofs like the Rockets with James Harden and then the Lakers with LeBron James, and his damn stats take a fucking hit and they expect him to just shoot. And it's fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, you got people out here bashing his character. Russell Westbrook has never been thugged out. He's never acted a goof. He's acted a class act since he came into the league. The only time you see him acting a fool is because, again, people sit courtside and pay money for tickets and think because I pay fucking thousands of dollars, I get to trash someone's family. No, Russell Westbrook's in the right anytime he stood up for himself and said, man, shut the fuck up talking about my family. Like, he's every right. Like, you pay that money to trash another player's mom or trash another player's wife and kid. Fuck out of here, dude. Like, Westbrook, I will give LeBron and Westbrook their most, like, I'm on their side. Like, that's bullshit. You shouldn't be able to. So that's the only time Westbrook has acted out. And I agree with him. He's trying to defend his damn family. But as far as the Lakers are concerned, you dumbasses want to get Russell Westbrook in here and Jenny Buss acting like a fucking idiot thinking, oh, well, he should have done, but they used him as a fucking scapegoat, dude. Like, oh, well, we can't win because of Westbrook. Bro, it's a team game. You got 10 other players who's playing like complete fucking garbage, but you seem to point the blame at Westbrook because he ain't shooting? I mean, come on, dude. Who's your other shooters? Austin Reeves? Who the fuck is that? Like, it ain't like you got Klay Thompson and Steph Curry out there shooting with Westbrook. It ain't like you got AD out there playing more than 10 games a season. I mean, and I know, I'm sorry. I know I said I won't crack no more AD injury jokes for right now, but it's the damn truth. He ain't playing more than 10 games a year half the times. You don't have a true center. The one player that was productive for you, Thomas Bryant, you fucking trade him at the trade deadline, and you wonder why, well, we got shooters now. We got D'Angelo Russell. Shut up, dude.
You think you ain't gonna make those AD injury jokes? Fine, I'll make one for you. AD's like fucking Buzz Lightyear when he tries to jump off the stairwell. And
yes,
all this time wasted.
But
yes.
There you go.
Major problems, yes. Not a flying basketball player.
It's just ridiculous because that was not Westbrook's fault why that team is bad. I'm sick of the blame.
Oh, dude.
Trashing him. And you know what I can say about Westbrook that I can't say about guys like fucking Ben Simmons? He's played every game. He hasn't got hurt. He shows up. He shows up for work every day. He's loyal to whoever he's playing for. And that's something you can't teach. Ben Simmons has no heart. Westbrook has heart. I give it to Westbrook. I'd take Westbrook 380 days out the year out of the 365 over Ben Simmons because of that attribute. And you know what I think? I think he's going to go to the Clippers, and I think he's going to fucking tear it up, dude, because you don't need shooting on the Clippers. You need someone who can be a playmaker, not a shooter. Lakers expected, LeBron's our playmaker. We need a shooter. Westbrook ain't it. Westbrook can be the playmaker now because Kawhi's not a ball-dominant player. PG's not a ball-dominant player. Oh, and should I remind you of PG stats when he was in Oklahoma City for those 2 years with Russell Westbrook? Playing with Russell Westbrook.
Great point.
the best he's ever been in his career, shot the highest percentage he'd ever did in his career, scored the most points per game he's ever did in his career, and made all NBA defensive team like he's never did in his career with Russell Westbrook. So I think Russell Westbrook can be a big factor to this team as long as you let Paul George be your shot maker and Kawhi shoot the shots, and you got Terrence Mann, guys like that. Like, you got some good pieces, dude. Let's just let Westbrook come in the game. He's going to start, by the way. As I said, that's our starting point guard.
Absolutely.
And here's a key factor nobody's mentioning. Westbrook has never played with a fucking head coach. Jesus Christ. His best head coach was Billy Donovan, for crying out loud, who was basically a bum. Like, he goes now, he's got Tyronn Lue. Ty Lue is a very exceptional NBA head coach. So now you got a real head coach that can actually calm your emotions down, get you in the flow of the game, get you some plays, and let you work. So I'm excited to see Russell Westbrook for this rest of this season. And I'm not a Russell Westbrook fan, but I hate the slander that he's getting because of LeBron James and Jenny Buss and them clowns that's wearing the purple and gold. I would love to see Westbrook get a championship because what a slap in the fucking face it'd be to LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I can see Kobe looking down from heaven right now with that death stare at him like, really? Really? Really, Jenny? Really?
This is how you honor the legacy of our organization. And Kevin,
let the fucking other team that we share a fucking building with come in and win a damn championship with one of our players. Really?
And not only that, Kevin, I'll add to this, Kev, and I'll let you continue. When you look at the situation with Russell Westbrook when he went to Los Angeles, we all had an idea that this was going to be a disaster. Why? Because LeBron is the king of fucking shit up. And LeBron is not going to take the blame or the responsibility for all of the mishaps and the missteps that the organization goes, because everybody looks past LeBron because LeBron is the quote unquote guy on the team. And we all know LeBron got all the praise and accolades, and all that stuff. But yet he is the one that has ran everybody away from him. I mean, Kyrie, he ran him out of Cleveland. He has ran Carmelo out of Los Angeles. He ran Russell Westbrook out of Los Angeles. He ran Mo Williams out of Cleveland. He ran a lot of people off with his antics, the way he carried himself. And when you look at the situation that Russell Westbrook goes to Los Angeles, and like you said, Kev, even though Russell Westbrook at UCLA in college played shooting guard, he transitioned to point guard because in the NBA, when he was on the Oklahoma City Thunder during his first stint with the Thunder, he had Kevin Durant and James Harden, two playmakers that could shoot the ball, that could dominate off the ball to get open on the wing, in the paint, on the mid-range jumpers. Westbrook could dish the ball. He could get in the paint and just do his layups and stuff and dish the ball out to his shooters and get the ball to the big man with the alley-oops and stuff. And now Russell Westbrook, it's almost like he's going back into the time machine, going to a team that doesn't need him to be the guy, to be the secondary shooter. Because when he was with the Lakers, LeBron was number one, Westbrook was number two. Sometimes AD was number two, but mainly Russell Westbrook was number two because LeBron deferred to him thinking, hey, brother, why don't you shoot some jump shots? Why don't you shoot some threes? Why don't you shoot some jumpers, some mid-range jumpers? Dude, no offense, but ever since his triple-double season, ever since that season, his jump shots has diminished.
It got worse.
It's gotten worse and worse.
It's gotten flat up worse. And the main thing I think about, though, Steven, is ball dominance.
Mm-hmm.
With the Lakers, the ball's always going through LeBron. He's setting up the plays and getting the assist and making the plays. That is Westbrook's game.
Yes.
The Clippers don't have that. Kawhi's used to playing in the Spurs system where he's just hanging out and making buckets when he has to. Paul George is not used to holding on to the ball. So the ball can actually run through Russell Westbrook as a true point guard and not just someone who's going to get the ball to LeBron and watch him do what he's got to do. He can run the offense and let Paul George and Kawhi make the plays.
Because that's all the Lakers were doing with LeBron.
That's something he couldn't do with the purple and gold, but now he's getting a chance. And it's crazy. I want to say one more thing about it that I think is ridiculous too, and I'm not hating on one person more than the next, but it's funny how the media comes out and makes it seem, Russell Westbrook averages a triple-double over 3 years, and people just cry and say, oh, he's that bad. But when Nikola Jokic is doing it the last 3 years, everybody's praising him like he's God. Oh, he's 3-time MVP. What's the difference, dude? They're both was winning games. Like, let's just appreciate greatness instead of trying to damn justify, oh, he's stat padding. But Jokic ain't. Let's just like accept greatness like that. That's great accolades. It's hard to get triple doubles in the NBA, and you got guys like Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic doing it like it's nothing. Like, let's not hate on one while we praise the other. Let's just praise them both.
Have it both ways, and that's the thing that annoys me with the media is they look at Nikola Jokic because Jokic is putting up these big numbers and they're winning. When Russell Westbrook put up those triple-double numbers in Oklahoma City during that one season when he was the MVP, ironically, the year after KD leaves Golden State, he averages a triple-double MVP that season, and he is praised not only by his players and his comrades, but the media. The media was kissing his ass, saying that, oh my God, look at that is one of the greatest regular season, benchmarks in basketball history, that Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double, the first player to do that since the great Oscar Robertson did it in the 70s. Hypocrites. Bullshit.
Exactly. Now they hate on it 2 years later.
Because he ain't winning. That's why.
What kills me is neither one won nothing out of it. Like, it kills me. Like, let's praise them. Like, y'all act like Jokic is winning while putting up triple doubles. Let me just acknowledge the fact that they were a fucking 5 seed last season, or a 6 seed last season in the playoffs, and essentially got swept by the eventual champion Golden State Warriors.
Exactly.
Literally almost swept.
And is they're going to praise Jokic?
About Jokic winning, putting up triple doubles? No, he's not. I said they haven't won no championships, and they're not close to winning the championship while Jokic is doing that. He's doing about the same as Russell Westbrook. Like, they're not winning. So, let's praise them, but let's not act like one's doing better than the other because they're not. Neither one of them got a ring off of it. Jesus Christ.
Russell Westbrook has become the Nickelback of the NBA. Russell Westbrook, it is so cool for the media to hate on him because he doesn't have the accolades. He doesn't have the accolades of a championship. Who gives a shit about championship rings? Championship rings don't define you as a basketball player, as a football player, etc. Any sport you can think of. Championship accolades do not make you a great player. There have been great players across the NFL, the NBA, MLB, NHL, you name it, that do not have a World Series, a Stanley Cup, a Super Bowl, an NBA championship. If you are a great player, you are a great player. The reason why some of these great players never won championships is because the competition was very, very thick, and it was very good because competition creates greatness. Look at all the NBA teams in the 80s and the 90s. The Utah Jazz, the New York Knicks, the Phoenix Suns, that Phoenix Suns team with Charles Barkley, the Jazz teams with Stockton and Malone, and the Knicks teams with Patrick Ewing, and just those 3 teams did not win a championship. Why? Because they fell to the GOAT of basketball, Michael Jordan. And you have to respect greatness. Greatness is earned, not by championship stats. That's the problem that I have with a lot of sports fans and with a lot of media personnel today is, okay, and Kev, you can attest to this, and you can keep me honest here. We were texting during the Super Bowl when the Chiefs at the time, I believe they were winning the game, but I think they were winning. I think they were up by 8 at this time when we were still texting during the game. But you said, if Mahomes wins this second championship, this right here puts him in the top 5. And I agreed with that. However, I also was about to counteract with this, even if he didn't win that second championship, and obviously he did, but even if he didn't, to me, he's still a top 5 almost all time already by that juncture before that second championship because of what he's done. He won a Super Bowl up to that point. He's been to 3 Super Bowls up until that point. He's already now got the 2 championships. The championships add to his resume. If he only had the 1 title, he still would go down as the best quarterback of his era. It's ridiculous how the media looks at this stuff. with that lens going, okay, where's the accolades? Where's the medal? Where's the championship rings? Again, we could be sitting here till we're blue in the face and say it over and over again. And we're going to keep standing by it, that championship victories do not make a great player in sports. So yeah.
Yes, LeBron is a dinosaur. Anyways, also we got to talk about the other big signing, which is of course the Bulls signing Patrick Beverley.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know.
Oh boy. Patrick Beverley.
Oh, Jerry Reinsdorf, you evil, evil son of a bitch.
Yes.
You know how to torture. You know how to torture the city of Chicago and the south side of it as well. Him and his bullshit decisions he made.
I feel bad for Chicago now.
Hey, at least I still got the Bears to look forward to. So there you go. I'm gonna leave comments on Patrick Beverley until I see how what that motherfucker can do.
He certainly didn't help the LA Lakers none. It's just some of his stupidest antics over the course of 10 years that I've
Grabbing
seen.
the camera from the photog over a foul.
Going back to 2018, they beat the Warriors one game in the Clipper series, and he says, "This is my league now for the next 10 years," and proceeds to have 0 rings since. 0 rings, period. Then in his comments after the buyout market, he said, I would like to play with Chicago because the East is weak and we can make a championship run rather than sign with Golden State. And I'm thinking, it's not a knock on Chicago. It's more of it's the Celtics and the Bucks and it's everybody else. It's just not about the East is weak. It's the fact that I don't care who you are, you're not beating the Bucks or the Celtics. Like they run the whole damn NBA right now.
Yeah.
And when the Suns get Durant back, maybe it's a different story. But I mean, Jesus Christ, you'd rather pick the Bull. You'd rather have to go play the Celtics twice or 3 times and the Bucks twice or 3 times rather than sign with Golden State and have to play that damn West where you could clearly get going and win. You're an idiot, dude. A damn bozo.
Yep.
On that note, let's talk about NBA All-Star Weekend.
Oh God.
First thing, before we get tear into this, I gotta say congratulations to The Miz, who had the greatest half-court shot in the entire All-Star game history that didn't count. They could have tied the game, and we could have tied that game, but he was off by like a half a second. If he would have had that half a second on that shot, it would have counted.
Miz is standing there going, really? Really?
Speaking of the celebrity game, while we're talking about the media, I find an interesting fact that DK Metcalf the wide receiver for the Seahawks won the celebrity game MVP, which I think is funny because all them dunks he had in the game, guess what the NFL did to him the next day? Drug test. Yep. They gave him a pop-up drug test for dunking because they said, wow, how can a guy jump so high? Let's give him a drug test. Roger Goodell, come on, man.
Roger Goodell is Vince McMahon, if you put it in that retrospect.
I agree.
He's lost in the times. He's lost in times. He's past his prime. He's thinking, oh wait, he's a wide receiver. How can he jump so high? Dude, no offense, but he's a wide receiver. Of course, if he's got to jump high for a ball, he's going to climb the ladder, so to speak, and catch the ball. Come on.
It's just stupid because he's meant to do that. Unlike we're talking about last year where Myles Garrett, the big boy, was out there for the Browns. The big boy was out there throwing down windmill dunks. Where was the drug test then? Jesus
exactly.
Christ. Got a damn D-line out there dunking like he's damn Michael Jordan. Where's the drug test then?
Right. Why again, it's like the rant that we went on about Russell Westbrook's treatment. Why are we treating DK Metcalf compared to with Myles Garrett?
Because he's a freak of nature. Like some people are just built like that, man.
Right.
Like, Drugs ain't got nothing to do with that. PEDs have nothing to do with that.
Right.
All right. Well, I also got to give a special shout out to, of course, 3-time NBA Celebrity Game Player and country music superstar Kane Brown, who has shown up and shown out in those games and has done a pretty good job himself.
Yep.
So definitely all the best on that, Kane Brown. Check him out wherever he's going to be playing.
And your boy Albert Pujols was in that game too.
Yep.
Yeah, Albert Pujols looked like the guy who can. Yeah, the way he was dressed, he looked like someone who could cross you up and fix your cracked iPhone screen at the same time at the mall for $55. Oh boy! Shout out Albert Pujols. Enjoy retirement, bro.
Yes. One of the greats.
I know we're gonna get into the game itself in just a few seconds, but we got to talk about the All-Star Weekend. We got to talk about all the different stuff that happened. Let's real quick. Some of the other people that were in the All-Star game include, of course, Megatron Calvin Johnson,
Nice.
Albert Pujols, Guillermo from Jimmy Kimmel Live. If you guys know that, if you guys watched that, like I said, Kane Brown was in it. We've had various rappers, Corday, Ozuna. We had Simu Liu, the actor Shang-Chi from Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings.
Sorry, Ezra. I just read Joey's comment in the chat. You would think that WWE would want to drug test him after having the arm straight with that half-court shot.
Yeah, but he's awesome. He doesn't need to be drug tested.
Good one, Joey.
Damn, Roger Goodell, they're gonna be on the same page. They're gonna follow suit.
Dude,
one for DK, one for the Miz.
Dude, and I can't believe look at the you got the honorary captain of Team Ryan, of course, Ryan Smith, the governor of the Utah Jazz. Lisa Leslie is the head coach. Fat Joe as the assistant coach. And
wow.
then you look at the other side. You got D Wade, of course. Giannis is the head coach, of course, nursing an injured wrist. Assistant head coach Alex Antetokounmpo, and then the Nets Antetokounmpo as the other assistant coach. The entire Antetokounmpo family is fucking taking over the All-Star.
Let me guess, their pops is the damn GM of it too. Jesus Christ.
And then the other assistant coach is 3-time Olympic medalist skier Lindsey Vonn.
Oh,
nice. Wow.
But let's check it out. Of course, you had the Rising Stars Challenge, which was pretty cool. Well, that was a pretty awesome thing. You had T. Powell, of course, coached by Paul Gasol. You had a team coached by Joakim Noah. Of course, that's my boy from Chicago.
Yes.
Team coached by Darren Williams and a coach done by Jason Terry.
Nice. Hell yeah.
T. Powell ended up beating T. Joakim 25-20. And then the skills challenge. Oh man. Skills challenge. We had I think it was Team Jazz who won that one, right?
Yes.
Team Jazz who won that one. So Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton.
Yeah. Okay.
It did a 3-point shooting contest. Of course, the winner, Big Damian Lillard.
Game time.
Yep.
And the slam dunk contest, Mac McClung from the Philadelphia 76ers.
That dude was unbelievable.
Okay, I don't want to take away from Mac McClung because I've seen his high school mixtape and dude can jump out the fucking gym. But here's my thing. Back in those days, you didn't see a bunch of G League players participating in the dunk contest because outside of Mac McClung, I didn't know any of the other 3 jabronis. I was like, who are these guys? I've never heard a damn name of them. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I knew Mac McClung was going to win. And then in a 3-point shooting contest, here's why I knew it was a joke. Respect to Damian Lillard and guys like that. But you had fucking Julius Randle, the center from the Knicks, You might as well bring Dwight Howard back and let him participate in the American 3-point shooting contest because that's how bad this guy was. I'm like, come on, dude. I remember back in the day you had.
Come on. Clay. I mean, Dwight participated in the Taiwanese 3-point shooting contest.
I guess the Taiwanese line is all the way around the free throw line. But anyway,
hey, and you said there's one man who could have a shot at making it in some sort of basketball league, didn't you?
Yes, Ben Simmons. If Dwight Howard can participate, Ben Simmons can too, damn it. But my problem, again, there's so many no names between the facts that it's a bunch of no names in these competitions. I remember growing up, was it 2015, 2016? Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson went shot for shot in that 3-point contest. I remember back in the day, Vince Carter going windmill after arms in the rim, like crazy shit. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like guys like that. Little Nate Robinson getting up there and dunking with Dwight Howard in the dunk competition. Like it was elite back then. And nowadays it's got between that, a bunch of no names, your popularity's going down because nobody really wants to watch those guys like that. Like, if you pay me to put together an dunk contest on 2K, I'm going to give you Ja Morant, LeBron James, Zion Williamson, like Zach LaVine, like Aaron Gordon, guys like that, like who's been there. I mean, it's a joke, dude. Then the fact that, no offense to Utah, but that is not a money-gathering venue for an all-star game to be held. Like, you look at these Super Bowls getting held at some of the most best venues to host a Super Bowl, and then you look at All-Star game coming to Utah. Like, you would think LA, Miami, Atlanta, New York, Utah?
Right.
Utah? What in the hell, Utah?
We're talking about Utah?
Like, we're not talking about LA and that fine like weather in LA. We're not talking about South Beach and the pretty venue down there. We're not talking about the Mecca.
Well, here's the thing. They're trying to raise the female demographic in the NBA, and Utah allows you to marry like 45 wives. So for every male that comes in, he brings his 45 wives. So it evens out the demographic a little bit.
Wow.
Well, you see on the state side, Utah welcomes you and your wives. But let's talk about that All-Star game, man. Let's talk about the ridiculousness of
what a shit show that was.
What was the score? 184-75. Jason Tatum, 55 points.
184.
Rebounds, 6 assists. Freaking Donovan Mitchell had 40. Damian Lillard had 26. Dude, Ja Morant had 6. Oh, so fucking stupid. Giannis had 2, of course, because he was out with that wrist injury. And then for team LeBitch, 32 for Joel Embiid, 32 for Kyrie, Jaylen Brown had 35, Halliburton had 18, Edwards had 12, and of course LeBron had 13.
Way to go, LeBron. And he hurt his wrist by not playing defense.
So
there is no defense in that fucking game. What are you talking about?
Michael Malone went on record and saying afterwards that after the 184-175 team victory by Team Giannis over Team LeBron, he said this was the worst basketball game I've ever seen. Yeah, no kidding.
And also, don't forget, Charles Barkley also says that he blames people like LeBron for ruining it.
And Barkley has a case, you know.
Basically, he's saying LeBron is just downright terrible.
Absolute terrible. LeBron James is absolutely terrible. Terrible. 100%
it's unbelievable
terrible.
Because you would figure that the NBA would do something better with this All-Star game to make it competitive, but they don't. And Jokic even said after the game, I didn't belong in this game. Neither did the rest of the other players in this game. This game meant absolutely nothing. And some reporters asked Jokic after the game, if they disguised you guys, if they disguised you where you could not tell which player was which, and you played a high school game, what would happen? Probably the same shit that happened on Sunday when Jason Tatum is dropping 55 in a meaningless game. So what if Tatum is the first player in NBA history to score 50 points in a regular season playoff game and an all-star game? That doesn't mean nothing to me. The fact of the matter is the all-star game is stupid, pointless, and downright disgraceful to the game of professional basketball and to basketball in general, because on a regular basis, these athletes bust their ass on a daily basis, wanting to be better in the gym and getting better at their rebounds, their shots, their shot selection, their shot making, their defense, their offensive schemes. And that game was a glorified exhibition matchup, and it meant absolutely nothing. And again, no offense, out of all friggin' cities you put this game in, not Chicago, not New York, not Los Angeles, Utah. Yeah. Salt Lake City, Utah.
What a joke.
What a joke. This game needs to be done. The Pro Bowl is trash. The NBA All-Star Game is trash. The MLB All-Star Game is trash. It's all trash.
You know what? I know where Charles Barkley is going, but why he blames LeBron? Because LeBron changes so many damn teams. He completely unequalizes the East and the West stars. Half the years, most of the fucking powerhouse superstars were out West, and no one was in the East. That's why they had to go to that stupid, I'm going to pick your team kind of shit format, because it was so uneven. Like, you had the East versus Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James in the West. And like, that's not even fair, dude, because of LeBron. And I heard, was it Charles Barkley or somebody, Stephen A. Smith? Stephen A., man, he hit it on the head. He said, listen, I'm not knocking people's off-season program, but when certain players' summer workouts and playing USA basketball is more competitive than this shit show of an all-star game, we have a problem. There's no reason it should be that lack of competitiveness and lack of like they're just bullshitting around at that point. Like,
yes,
you watch USA ball like they're playing other countries like China and Spain and France, correct, and then they're playing them hard. Like, Jesus Christ. But then you're telling me you can't put on a good game like that for the fans in your own country in an all-star weekend? It's a fucking joke.
Your own city, because the add to this, Kevin. But I'm just reading a headline. Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal called Salt Lake City the most boring city during NBA All-Star.
Yeah, you know what Shaq said? They said, what'd you do during your They asked Shaq, they said, what'd you do during your All-Star trip this weekend? He said, well, I spent about $20,000 in room service because there ain't shit to do in Utah. So I just stayed in my room and ordered food. I said, damn. That's all Shaq did. It's a joke, man.
It's
like, you got the Super Bowl coming to places like New York City or New Jersey and Miami and Atlanta and the Allegiant Stadium, Vegas next year.
It'll be in Vegas next year. There's a shit ton of stuff to do in Vegas.
A good spot. Out in SoFi Stadium last year is a good spot. But what do? Oh, we're just gonna send the All-Star game to Utah. Like, I mean, there's a reason why this All-Star game don't come to Charlotte but once every fucking 80 years, because not a fucking thing in Charlotte for these people to do like that. Jesus Christ, man. And I can't imagine Salt Lake City, Utah is probably even worse than Charlotte, for crying out loud. It's a joke, man. Like, at least in Charlotte, you got some kind of a bunch of celebrities that live locally that actually come to the game. Like, I mean, you got certain like artists and stars, stuff like that, just coming to the game. What the fuck does Utah have for crying out loud?
There's local clubs to go to in Charlotte to check out bands and artists and stuff, and there's good restaurants to go to. I mean, there's lots of good stuff to do. Yeah, but Utah, get the hell out of here. I mean,
matter of fact, I was watching on NBA TV the replay of the 2001 All-Star game. You know what the score was in the last minute of the game going down to the wire?
What?
104 to 103.
There you go. Competitive
defense. Kobe was clamping somebody up. Tim Duncan was out there rebounding people like it was a finals. Like, come on, dude. Where the fuck is that now?
Where's the competitive spirit?
Now you got people like, and I will say, Curry's got everybody. Steph has got everybody doing it too. But now you got people in the All-Star game think it's cool to just stand at half court and heave up threes like across the half court line because Steph makes it so effortless the way he does it. So everybody else thinks, oh, let me just throw up half court heaves like I'm playing in rec ball or something. Like it's a joke, dude.
And Kev, no offense to Steph Curry. I love Curry. I know Curry is your dude, but Curry even fucked the game up of basketball because he single-handedly changed the way jump shooters in the NBA think they have to shoot the three. Curry's the only guy really that can hit those shots from any possible spot on the court on a consistent basis.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he necessarily fucked it up, but he fucked it up for people watching because they think they can do it. They think they can.
Not everybody besides him and Thompson and Durant can hit shots like that. Unbelievably.
I guess they need to steal WWE's old slogan when it says, please don't try this at home. Steph Curry shooting, please don't try this at home because you're not Steph Curry. He's a trained 3-point specialist.
Right.
And you're out there jacking up threes like you're cool or something. Hey, come on. Dude.
It is a slap in the face to the game of basketball because the fact that these all-star games used to be fun to at least check out. They used to be competitive. Now they're far from being competitive at all. I mean, you got big guys like, when Dwight Howard was in the all-star game, chunking up threes.
My thing is they don't have no player to hold them accountable. Like, I was watching a documentary on Netflix just real quick called The Redeem Team, and it was about the 2008 USA team.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe didn't join till late. Before Kobe came, this team was they were doing it like the All-Star game. They were just goofing off, clowning, hacking up shots. Then they go get their ass whooped by 30 by Spain. And they're like, well, why can't we win? Kobe came to that team, and you know what he said? He said, what the fuck are y'all playing for? This ain't fun. We're trying to win our country a medal. And we're trying to prove we're the best country in the world in basketball. And y'all out there talking about going to the club. They said, man, Carmelo was like, man, we got home from the club. It was like 5 a.m. Kobe was getting up with his bags, getting ready to go into the gym and practice. Like, they need someone with that kind of mentality who's going to take shit serious and say, hey, I want to see star on star. Who's the best player? Play your best defense, and I play my best offense. It won't happen in this game. Kobe would take this shit serious, man. Nobody else will. Everybody thinks it's a fucking joke show. And you know what? I hate to say it, but Adam Silver needs to be held responsible as well. Half of this shit is his fucking fault. You put in more rules and implement more rules and stricter rules against this shit, maybe it would cease.
Exactly.
But just like Roger Goodell in the Pro Bowl, it needs to be held accountable, man.
And you got to do a better job at making your selection on where you're going to hold these all-star game facilities and stuff like that.
Exactly. You vote on it 2 years in advance. Jesus Christ, dude. You would think that, they would come up with something over the course.
Don't do it.
When was the last time an all-star game came from the Mecca?
Don't do it.
It's a while.
Don't do it because you want to get every NBA city's team a chance to host a game so it can get casual fans and their respective states to go to it. Okay, if that is the case.
You don't want to be WrestleMania and only go to the same 4 cities every 10 years.
But that defeats the purpose, Steven. Like we're talking about, the All-Star game is so shitty. Why the fuck would I spend $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 to watch that shit show of a game to get me into basketball?
Exactly.
Like, if I hear about this shit, I want to see something. Like I don't want to. Oh, I'm just getting into basketball. Let me go watch the All-Star game, even though I know it's shit. Why the fuck am I going to spend $10,000 to go watch a shit show like that over the weekend? I'm like, man, I'm not going to that. Host the NBA Finals, and I might go to it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, good God.
Because if that is the NBA's case, we're gonna put every All-Star game in every city. That's a dumb excuse. Because if you put the All-Star game in a city that has things to do, of course people are going to come because there's stuff to do in the big cities in Chicago, in Vegas, in California, in Los Angeles, or in New York.
There's a reason the NFL is better than the NBA at that, because they bring the Super Bowls to better cities. And it's not about Super Bowls. Like the newer cities they're trying to host football games, like they bring good teams to play. Like last year's Mexico City game, the first Mexico City game in a long time, had the 49ers and the rivalry Cardinals, which it wasn't really won a game. But George Kittle being a big time wrestling fan down there, like it brought so many casuals to watch the game of football out in the Mexico City. That's how you do it. If the NBA would just host certain games in certain cities, like meaningful games, they might get some growth. That's all I'm saying. Like,
you want meaningful games?
Host a Celtics and Warriors rematch from a new city that you're trying to get viewership from. You know what I'm saying? Something that's going to mean something.
You want a meaningful game? Have Lakers and Celtics, the biggest rivalry in NBA basketball in another country. There you go. Boom. Money.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the NBA knows nothing about that because they suck. All right, moving on. No, I'm kidding.
Garbage.
Yeah, they need to host something in different cities. It's just ridiculous.
The way WWE does the Mania stuff, the way the NFL does the Super Bowl stuff, it's absolute genius. They're going to cities and states that there is shit to do. Mania is going to be in California.
hopefully with the and one other news break I got to talk about real quick, NFL wise, is that the Bears bought that Arlington area, that in that Arlington area, Arlington Park, I believe it is, out that former racetrack out there. They bought that.
Oh.
So now they're going to start hopefully eventually turning that into a brand new stadium.
I heard something about that, Ezra. I heard Justin Fields is actually voting on it for it to be a dome. He said he's sick of the weather.
Can't blame him. This weather is more unstable. I'm trying to think of something clever here. This weather is more unstable than Mongrovian Mike in the middle of traffic in New York. Anyway, but yeah, they bought that former horse racetrack in Arlington Park, and I guess the goal is, of course, to build it into a new stadium, hopefully with a dome or something, so that way they can host events all year round instead of just hosting it during the spring, summer, and the beginning of fall. You know what I mean? Because you got to think, you can't host concerts there at Soldier Field. You can't host big, sports shows there outside of football because of the inclement weather up there in the North region. If they have a dome, it'd have something like for instance, what Minnesota has at USA Bank Stadium. If they had something like that, Chicago could get stuff like the Super Bowl, like WrestleMania,
right?
Could get stuff like that, and that's one. And I think that's a plus. Yes, it sucks. It would eliminate Soldier Field as being the home of Chicago for well over 100 years. But in the process, if you're thinking about it, it's going to bring all new jobs, all new revenue to that area. Plus, it's also going to open up more opportunities for revenue for the Chicago area and the surrounding suburbs.
Real quick, Ezra, just to add to the misery of the NBA All-Star Game. Next year, February 18th, 2024, you're putting the All-Star Game in Indianapolis?
Don't get me wrong. There is stuff to do in Indy. There is a lot of stuff to do. Coming from a guy who has been to Indianapolis, has traveled through there, there is a lot to do. There are car museums. There's the Indiana Motor Speedway you can check out as a tourist attraction.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great restaurants down in Indy. There is a lot of things to do. I will say that much. I'm not defending Indianapolis because, yes, they have a shit football team. And yes, otherwise, but they do have some things you can do. It's not Utah boring at all.
Okay.
So
all right.
I will say that much. There is more to do.
Okay.
Especially with Indianapolis being the home of, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, being a home of of the IndyCar series.
That's true. At least there's that. But Utah,
you look at that, and there's a lot of, and there is sometimes there are basketball fans who are also racing fans or even car enthusiasts.
Sure,
they can go look.
That's true.
There are different museums and stuff they could check out involving, in Indy racing and all that if they wanted to. So there's that. There's plenty of restaurants, like I said, and Indy's got a lot to offer. So we'll see what happens, man. I think it's going to be better than Utah. I think there is going to be stuff for them to do.
I hope so.
I think so. Coming, like I said, I only live about 3.5, 4 hours from Indy myself, maybe a little bit more, but it's let me tell you, there's a lot more to do than go find your 6th or 7th wife in Utah. I got jokes, but that's for off the air. But
at least we can say Indianapolis is better than Utah. Sorry.
Definitely. Real quick before we get off the NBA discussion, and the Clippers are signing guard Keaton Wallace to a 2-way contract.
Okay.
He's playing for the franchise league. He's playing for the G League in Ontario.
All right.
And here we go. Here's a little stat for you. With approximately 1/3 of NBA teams still with an available roster spot, free agents include Serge Ibaka, John Wall, LaMarcus Aldridge, Will Barton, Stanley Johnson, Wayne Ellington, Tyler Johnson, Sterling Brown, Hassan Whiteside, Dave Nwabe, and Michael Carter-Williams.
Man, some pretty big names are still on the market.
Yep. So, yeah, if you're looking at that, there's a lot of big names coming up. So there's, and also all the other big news coming out of Chicago. The Bulls have shut down Lonzo Ball for the remainder of the season due to his ongoing knee issues.
Unfortunately, that happened to Chicago.
I have a feeling that Lonzo will not play another pass. I don't feel like he will play another play in NBA because it's just his knees just seem too problematic.
Oh yeah,
he's unfortunately he's dealing with issues that are very similar to RG3 in the NFL. You know what I mean? He's had 2 surgeries and he's still having soreness and issues within his knee despite that.
Yep.
So definitely that sucks for Chicago and sucks for Lonzo, who has made improvements on the Bulls team from what I could see.
Yeah.
As you know, and unfortunately I don't get to watch every game that plays, but from what I can tell from highlights and all that, he's made steady improvements when he has been healthy. Let's see. I'm looking at the National Basketball Players Association have hired their first VP, Grant Williams.
Ooh, nice.
So, yep, he's the first VP to serve this 4-year term. New VPs, Jaren Jackson and Donovan Mitchell will serve 3-year terms. That's according to the NBA player, National Basketball Players Association Twitter account. And outside of that, really no other big news breaks. So that's it pretty much on the NBA. And MLB has been relatively quiet. Nothing coming up yet because, of course, baseball season doesn't start for another couple months. So,
yep.
And in MMA news, really, just building. The whole thing really is just building up to the next big UFC pay-per-view. As far as that goes, I believe that is UFC 285, which is Saturday, March 4th, the main event featuring for the UFC Heavyweight Championship, Cyril Gane defending against Johnny Bones Jones.
Ooh. Wow.
And also in a co-main event, the women's flyweight title on the line, Valentina Shevchenko will defend against Alexa Grasso.
That should be a pretty good fight.
So we got a pretty strong card coming up on that. Like I said, we got. Well, it's actually not for the heavyweight title; it's just a heavyweight fight. And then you also got Cody Garbrandt who on the preliminary card. You've got Derek Brunson, who's going to be in town. Amanda Ribas. So good fights on this card. It is for the vacant UFC Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It is for the vacant UFC Heavyweight, because I forgot that because Francis Ngannou didn't re-sign a new contract, he was stripped of the Heavyweight Championship. So
yep,
I forgot about that. But yeah, it's the next big fight coming up in the UFC, and also getting prepared for the Ultimate Fighter season coming up between Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor. So
that's going to be a hell of a fight.
It's going to be a hell of a fight, and it's going to be a very entertaining season of The Ultimate Fighter. Of course, that'll be on ESPN Plus. If you guys have that. Alvaro says that. I have really nothing else to discuss for today. Any of you guys have anything?
I actually have some news I want to read.
Kevin, go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead.
What's yours?
Well, everybody wanted to know what was on that Chinese spy balloon that flew over the country the last couple of weeks, but I found out what it was. It was a camera belonging to Bill Belichick. We call it Spygate 2.0. Flying on NFL team from a balloon. Oh, and there was a note on the bottom of the balloon too, and it read in very bold letters, "Y'all still them boys?" Talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
And then that second unidentified aircraft that got shut down. It got shut down, and there was a note attached to that. And it was an injury report, and it says Anthony Davis on it, and it says March 1st, 2023.
Wow.
It says timetable to return. The timetable to return, not in the playoffs.
Has anybody ever? Let me bring in nostalgia.
Anthony Davis. Yes, I said he's like Buzz Lightyear jumping off the stairwell in
That's
Toy
still
Story.
the best thing you said.
But he's more fragile than a fucking French vase in a museum.
Let me bring up a nostalgia moment before we close out. But
Sure.
Has anybody ever played the old 2K games and they have some of the wackiest injury reports on there? Talk about Jimmy Butler for the Bulls will miss a game for attempted murder. Like what? What?
Wait a minute. Hold on, Cam. Okay.
Anthony Davis shit. Anthony Davis stepped in his toilet on the way to his kitchen.
That's what LeBron looks like every time he flops. Attempted murder.
Oh shit.
Wait, Kev. What 2K was that? What 2K was
Well, Butler was on the Bulls, so I'm thinking it was like 13, 14.
Oh
2K,
my
14,
God.
15, something like that. It was on the old gen. It was on the.
I can't wait to see how long he'll be out for assault and battery.
Well, Jesus, that means Alvin Kamara missed the whole season.
Oh, we forgot about that. Yes. Great segue.
No, we talked about this. Alvin Kamara being indicted.
Yeah, he was indicted and being sued by the victim.
Yeah.
Yep.
We talked about that earlier. He was part of that four people that were involved in that suit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did. Yep.
Yeah, we did mention about Alvin Kamara. It was one of the first news reports I read off Adam Schefter's thing.
Yeah. We did. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good. But outside of that, let's go ahead and close this bitch out. Why don't we? Kevin, you first, bud.
It was a great show talking about the NBA All-Star Game and that bum of a city in Salt Lake.
That's how lost I got in that because I totally forgot we covered that shit at the start.
And it was good talking about the NFL. And only one more tip of advice for the night from me is, if you're thinking about installing a damn camera on a balloon, don't do it. Don't be like Mr. Bill Belichick. That is all.
Steven?
Spygate 2.0. Tremendous. The Buzz Lightyear line is still the best of the night. Anyways, great show with you guys as always, talking about the NFL, the
It's like
NBA.
LeBron. It's like LeBron's hairline to infinity and beyond.
LeBron is a sad, strange big man.
Yes, he is.
Anyways, great show with you guys talking about the NFL, the NBA, and oh, by the way, before we get off the air, next Tuesday on the show, I talked to Joey about this earlier today, and I thought about, since the NFL season concluded last week, why don't we do our own top 5, come up with our own top 5 games of the 2022-23 NFL season? That could be regular season, playoff games, or the Super Bowl. Who knows? So that'll be something fun to think about for next week as our top 5 games of the 2022-23 National Football League season. That will be next week. And plus, whatever we decide to talk about as far as the NFL free agency is concerned, because that will be starting in a few weeks or so. And obviously, the NBA will be heating back up on Thursday, and spring training and baseball is underway, and MLB kicks off in a couple of months. And also, I wouldn't be reminiscent if I didn't bring this up, because being a music guy like me and Ezra are, this Friday, one of the best hard rock bands of this era, Godsmack, is going to be coming out with their brand spanking new album, Lighting Up the Sky. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. As a drummer, as a musician, I am super hyped for this album, because this has all of the intangibles of the Godsmack sound. It's raw, it's in your face. It has, and according to what Sully Erna, frontman of Godsmack, has said, and what Shannon Larkin, the drummer, has said, this album has a little bit of everything as far as all the years of their music and what they've sounded like over the years. So I'm all for it. I am here for it. The first 2 singles, Surrender, You and I, are tremendous, and Soul on Fire will be the 3rd single off of this album, dropping the same day on the 24th, the same day as the album coming out. So again, if you are a Godsmack fan, check out, and I know I will be, checking out their brand new album this Friday, Lighting Up the Sky, available all across the streaming platforms, available wherever you get your music. And again, I'm super excited for this record coming out. And also, we're ever so close to the brand new Metallica record, 72 Seasons, coming out in April. So let's friggin' go. And on that note, again, folks, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms at ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show. And also, when we are live on YouTube at YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show, where we are live on most every Tuesday night, sometimes on Wednesday nights. Anyways, we're live on the good old YouTube. And also, don't forget to check out the Nation's Corner on Saturday this week, as the guys and gal talk about the week in professional wrestling, talking about Elimination Chamber from this past Saturday in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And as we are now on the road to WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, California, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, the Nation's Corner will be live this Saturday on YouTube. Don't forget to join Front Row Tony, Justice, Devhausen, and Mongrovian Mike as they talk about the week in wrestling. And you can follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, it is at the Nation's Corner. And with that being said, Ezra, wrap this up, my friend.
Absolutely, man. And also, don't forget, also, as you said, we're wrapping up the 72 Seasons as well, getting ready to hit that album up from Metallica. Don't forget, March 2nd, tickets go on sale, and movie theater times will be presented for the Metallica Global Listening Party for the album, which will take place on the date of the album's release. So check that out, too, at your local movie theater. Keep an eye out on the websites for more listings. Also, don't forget to check out my cosplay crew, Too Sweet Cosplay, across all socials at Too Sweet Cosplay. We post cosplay submissions. We do little polls based on WWE events. And also we do appearances, and our next appearance will be announced very shortly. Like I said, keep an eye on the social media for more info as it comes through. And outside of that, we are officially done for today. So with that being said, for Kevin Rory, for Stevie Wyand, for Joey Thornton, and for our boy Randy Garn, who's always in the chat and live listening to us, I'm Mr. Vickery. We will see you right here next week for another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Have a great week and enjoy the sports, and we will see you next Tuesday. Peace.